What's up, guys? It is the Wolf coming at you Wiley style. If this is your first time here, you already know what to do. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if you're looking for the truth, welcome to the tribe. You and it will not be denied. So let's get in on it now. All right. So, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Seriously, I really do. Have a blessed holiday season. Be safe, be warm. Be aware, be cautious, be careful, and keep your eye on the prize because, man, are they doing some wily coyote type ass shiznit in the real world? Live action role play. They just playing across the board in everything from what you eat, drink, sleep, shit, uh, going after masculinity, masculizing females, the everything. There is no place I have found. I mean, not the air you breathe. Are they like they're playing with everything, everything. But if you guys want to hear more about that kind of stuff, join me on my other YouTube channel, which is my backup channel, Badwolf Unrestricted. We go in over there, guys. I don't care. Probably gonna hurt your feelings. You may not like me on that channel. You may not believe half of what I'm telling you, but that's okay because the truth is still the truth. So, without further ado, let's get into it. As always, if you see anybody using any of my information or talking trash as a trader or somebody who just doesn't like me, you ain't gotta like me. I'm still spilling Cristal on my white tea. Okay? Just saying it. Just keeping it real, keeping it jiggy. For real though, report them for bullying, slander, and defamation of character because they're part of the problem. They're part of the problem. People don't want to hear the truth. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but at least hear it and do your own research. Don't worry about me. It's not about me. This is about the truth that has helped thousands upon thousands. I mean, I've got almost 100,000 subscribers now, and my imprints have gone over 1 million different places. I've already surpassed millions of different videos out there and different impressions. So why am I getting thousands of emails a month saying I've changed people's lives and that this information works and that it's helpful and it has saved marriages and got people out of their cars and stopped people from unaliving themselves. Some military people reached out to me. Police officers have reached out to me asking for help and assistance with their scenarios. All right. So obviously, I'm doing something right. You don't have a judge ask you to join their side for no reason. So I'm sorry. All those little armchair lawyers who like to spend too much time on YouTube and want to say that, oh, I'm just a armchair YouTube lawyer or whatever else. Please, let's compare notes. We can start with IQ and then go from there. Okay? I didn't really set out to be this person. So the fact that you got to attack me really just tells me that I'm doing something right. Because if I wasn't valid at all and I wasn't already known out there in different three-letter agency groups and in some back corner municipality police station offices, board members rooms, places where I will never step foot in, but my name is there and yours isn't, says something different. They say my name and what they call their blood, this black oozy stuff, boils. They don't even know who you are. So we're not the same. No no, you know what? I was gonna say no disrespect, full disrespect. Tired of being nice. Come on now. So without further ado, let's get into my beautiful, awesome, wonderful people out there who want to know knowledge. As always, guys, something you're not gonna hear from most people. Even with my work, starting here, I'm not even blaming other people. I'm starting here. Double check it, vet it. Don't just do something somebody on a screen on the internet tells you to do. Some people are loco in their medulla oblongata. There's a lot of mental health delusion out there. There's a lot of dudes pandering out there to chicks. There's a lot of mental disorder amongst chicks telling younger females how to live and how to be a masculine woman and how to be and what a real man's is. and all the rest of this trash that they're doing. Now, Lord knows I am not saying I'm perfect. Not at all. Matter of fact, that's how I can speak on the BS and the darkness and whatever else because I've been there. So all I'm saying is just beware because some of those paths, like mine, will lead you to all kind of places. Don't let the positive and the professional sounding voice fool you. There's some people who know me by different names out there. All right. So, but what I'm doing is balancing the light and the darkness and bringing it to you guys in the middle of the road. Move how you see fit. All right. So in this particular video, we're going to talk about how a recent client of mine was denied their passport. Okay. Now, this person didn't have any back taxes, they didn't have any child support, any of the other stuff. All they did is refuse to put their social security number on there. Now, for those people who don't know, when you don't put your social security on there, which is only actually required by a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, not a national. So when we do our passports as nationals, their internal agency should be updating their officers. And I know you guys watch my information. Department of State, thank you for making the corrections that you guys already have to be compliant with the law. So, but there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. So, in their books, they're supposed to do it the right way, but some agents aren't good, and there could be some internal clandestine things going on where they don't want us to get the passport done as nationals. I don't know. So, once again, this is all education and entertainment purposes only, but I digress. So, with him, it was we had everything prepared. He got the explanatory statement, which is optional, but really, really good. A lot of people have said, "Man, I wish I would have included that." You can get it on Black Site. You can create your own. You guys have a majority of the codes. You can do a chat version and mine or whatever else. Whatever you want to do is up to you. I'm just saying, the information is out there and it's good. It works. All right. It has been time tested and found to be true, even through courts. We've used it. It works because it's tied to the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. Our rights and liberties and freedoms are there. They work. But you may get pushback in certain places. And if that's the case, then you sue that agent, that office, or that department, or that agency, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you sue them over it. Federal court or higher if needs be. Okay, so he had the explanatory statement done right. We even included the affidavit, no, actually the internal letter from the Department of State on the fact that they admitted you do not have to use your Social Security number. You have the right to operate in either U.S. citizen status or national state citizen standing under the Department of State of all places, their Foreign Affairs Manual, 8 FAM 301.1-1 letter B, okay, which states that there's a difference between nationality and citizenship, and we get both. How do we know that? 8 U.S.C. 1401A, Cornell Law EDU. Those are secured rights. We get both. We get nationality first by the birthright. Birthright always comes first. And then man-made laws were given U.S. citizenship. It comes with it. You get both. One is a real thing, a living being, and the other one as a thing, a mask you can put on to reside your identity, resident, residing your entity. It doesn't mean you're permanently over there, but your name is tarnished because they can say, well, this is how we know you to be. So your name is then tarnished. Doesn't mean you can't do other things. Okay? But in this, when you have the right to choose either one you want to do in any one particular event. It's not all across the board. You have to be a citizen, have to be a national, whatever. You can choose in any one event as long as you inform them properly who and what you are that thing. However, if you have identified yourself as a U.S. citizen in that event and you have not updated, then that's how they're going to regard you, and they're not going to see the other side. Some benefits and privileges you have to be the U.S. citizen to get. because it's a benefit and a privilege, not a right and a freedom. So with his, we had all that done right. We even had his written statement, his own affidavit that said, which I think he got from me, or we made like a combo. I worked with him on it, or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, so we and in that you have to say it specifically, and you have to say things carefully. Okay, because certain words you say or certain omissions of things can bring you into their jurisdiction. Same thing with the using ChatGPT to create your own explanatory statement. You have to be very careful because most of the time yours are not drafted like my or created like mine. Mine has been my AI has been modified. You can get that on blacksite32 or jamesclovett.com. The chat doesn't get everything right because it was built in the belly of the beast by the maritime workers, the civil side, the public side, public laws, rules, state stuff, all that stuff wasn't built to be balanced like the government is supposed to be. And they are most of the time. So after all that, he sent it in. They sent him a letter back stating, "We need you to provide this or we're not going to give it to you." I told them to send the same stuff back and tell them to send it to the legal department for a legal determination. Because whoever that agent is, asshole, personally, that one, not the entire team by any means, but ones like them, um, you don't have the legal authority to make a legal decision. That's against the law. And you can be prosecuted for that. You're trying to make a legal determination and you don't have the capacity legally nor lawfully to do so. That's for the legal department. So this person decided to not send it to the legal department and ignore what he had sent on some, I feel some type of way. And I'm on a power trip. Look at me. I'm Billy Badass. So we constructed some got all the information gathered again. And now he's sending it directly to the legal department to overstand that particular person's decision, unanimous decision, self done, and report that particular agent so that they get properly educated or reprimanded. Not my concern, not my monkey, not my circus. So, with that being stated, we're still in lieu of what's going to happen with this. We basically told them that this is not right and that the legal department didn't sign off on this as a final decision. But the key part, the reason why I'm making this video, is they sent them back a final denial within that 30-day or no 90-day window. And in that denial, they had an interesting passage that made this even more fraudulent, corrupt, fictitious, and a suable scenario because of what they accused him of, and they misapplied a code. This particular person, and I'm not blaming the entire Department of State. Actually, they've been pretty wonderful. I really wish, even though they watch my videos, that they would really help me out with the, whole absentee mother kidnapping scenario. Little help would be nice. Um, but they have made changes based on some of the information I put on my videos. So yes, I do know that they watch my videos. Um, and they're getting it right because I got it right. I didn't have it right. I had to research it, and research it. But one thing about the government is that when they find that they have done something that is supposed to be right and they want to avoid lawsuits, they will generally change it. Because if enough people actually see the mistake, or hell, if you want me to throw it out there, the moment I see one of these mistakes, by the administrative process, I'm supposed to give them due notice. So technically, I guess my videos are due notice. And if they don't fix it, which means it has to go through their legal department. So I'm as smart or smarter than their legal department because apparently some of these people didn't catch a lot of these things. Then they can be sued. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind taking on 1% of the gross income of the federal government. Now, probably the judge wouldn't give me that much, but it would be enough that I wouldn't have to work ever again. So there's that. All right. So without, well, no, with further ado, because that was further and it's now due, let's get to what I wanted to show you guys as to why, if this happens to you, your passport got denied a second and final time. If they use this code, this is how you're going to have to deal with challenging them to reopen it. Now, there's one or two small steps that we're doing in there. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. But if they use this code on you for a final denial, here's why they're wrong, and here's how you throw it back at them through their legal department, force them to reopen it, and give you that passport. Because with them, they say they have the right to deny a passport based on this particular code. So let's take a look at this particular code. So the person who denied him, let's see, this way or that way? Which way? Hold on, I got to see. Which way? Layout this way? Yeah, there we go. All right. So over here, as you guys can see, up here, I know it's weird because I've got different cameras everywhere. That way, that way. Okay, so this over here, if you look at the top, they denied him under this code. I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Read me the code again." He said, 22 U.S.C. section, that's what this symbol means right here, section. 2714, I said, "It can't be." I started laughing. He said, "No, that's what it is." He said, "Why are you laughing?" I said, because you don't, this isn't you. This doesn't qualify." He said, "That's what I thought when I looked it up too." I said, "You're telling me they denied you your passport on 22 U.S.C. section 2714. He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, then we've already won just on that." Here's why this is wrong. 22 U.S.C. 2714 says denial of passports to certain convicted drug traffickers. I said, "Are you a drug trafficker?" He said, "No." I said, "Have you ever been convicted of anything?" He said, "No." I said, "Then they misapplied the code and they fraudulently defrauded you of a passport, which then falls under denial of rights and privileges as a national under 8 U.S.C. 1503, which is how we wrote up this master declaration slash affidavit to in letter of right to cure for having defaulted on him. We are giving them the right to cure the scenario before he files a federal lawsuit. And he asked me how much could he sue for. I said at least $100,000 to $400,000. He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I was like, "That's yeah." They're denying you of a right. When they deny you of a constitutional right, you're starting at $100,000 from up from there. If you guys are suing police officers, stations, municipalities, whatever else, your bare minimum should be $100,000. Period. Matter of fact, if it was should it be me, it would be nothing less than 400,000 or 500,000. But I would probably personally actually shoot for about $1 million. Generally said, the judge will probably reduce it a little bit unless you can really show the damage. But other people have won easily 400 to $1.2 million. If we are going to teach them a lesson any department, any agency not giving us our constitutional rights, the only way they're going to learn their lesson and act right is if we take their money. Because, see, they would like for us to be belligerents and combatants. That way they can take away more of our rights. Oh, look, you guys can't self govern. We need more money, more weapons, more this. So that's why they play with the cell phone tower frequencies and your the certain things you watch and visual stimuli, dopamine levels, what you eat, what you drink, aluminum in your underarm deodorant, sucralose in your beverages. The word fragrance contains 20 different toxic chemicals. All of this is, of course, education. So do your own research from this entertainment platform. Like I said, I talk more about all that stuff on Badwolf Unrestricted. All right, so if you're into that kind of stuff, follow me over there. Fascinating, trust me. Took me a lifetime to learn all of these ins and outs and secrets. And I'm giving you guys the executive quick note summary so y'all can get in the game. You don't have to spend 20, 30 years. Essentially, somebody took notes from the first Batman movie and figured out that not only are those chemicals and things and additives already bad for you, but here's the Joker secret. Why so serious? When you combine them, they become almost untraceable to what your ailments are because you've been taking them for 20, 30, and 40 years of your life. Brilliant! Brilliant. Brilliant. I have to give due. I'm not necessarily saying I'm on their side by any means. What I'm saying is it's a brilliant scheme. And they put all of it out there right in front of us, and very few people seeing the whole story. But anyway, so not only that, but in his letter of right to cure, we also quoted the new case from the other video that's going pretty viral on my platform, where that lady, after a number of years, won her case saying a social security number is not required to get a passport. Not only did she not use her social security number because she just didn't want to as a national, and a lot of people got this part wrong. She didn't have to use a birth certificate issued from the state. It doesn't mean she didn't have to have any birthing documents. She just didn't have to use a social security number at all, but she didn't have to use a state issued one, meaning she could use one from the I know they're all sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to see what I'm going to say. So I'll just say this. Um, a hospital provided or birth center document. I'll just say there's a gem drop there. If you guys have watched my channels and videos enough, you'll pick it up. I won't tell their dirty little secret here, but yes. So it just meant that out of those documents, they can't force her to get a state one because a state one is something different. It's a private system for the public. They can't force you to say, hey, you're a national in our books, but go and get one of those U.S. citizen, 14th Amendment slave, artificial entity with no living information documents issued from the state that they make money on, that we don't know anything about them making money on because we don't deal with them, so we've never seen it. So this is me authorizing the federal government to look into the fact that those birth documents are in fact legal persons and they're bonded, they're securitized, they've got a QSIP on there. I learned that if the government, you have to put the government on notice. So this is me putting on notice because I know you guys watch my websites, my videos, all that stuff. I know you do. So now you have authorization on behalf of the private and a national leader of Lovitica national government and nation of Lovitica, and as just a general state citizen, There, it's out there. The snowball has been thrown to the top of the mountain. Let's see where it rolls. So getting in the rest of this, I looked at 2714 and said, okay, well let's and this is what I always do when I look up codes. I want to look at the next one. Okay, it says revocation or denial of passport in case of certain unpaid taxes. So I said, do you have any unpaid taxes? He said, no, I'm good. I said, okay. I said, are you sure it's 2714A or just 2714? What? He said, nope, 2714. I said, okay, let's look and see if go to the next one. Okay, so that doesn't apply. That's where we are. 13 doesn't apply. So it either has to be that they're calling him a drug trafficker or he owes certain unpaid taxes. So neither one of these apply. He can't be denied a passport underneath this code when he's not a convicted drug trafficker. I kind of also suggested maybe check your record just to make sure some of it's the same name or they didn't get something confused. Under A, ineligibility for passport. In general, a passport may not be issued to an individual who is convicted of an offense described in subsection B during the period described in subsection C if the individual used a passport or otherwise. So there's even time frames that even you can still get one if you are convicted of certain things. 2, passport revocation. The Secretary of State shall revoke a passport previously issued to an individual who is ineligible to receive a passport under paragraph 1. Okay, so this says they under this code they can only do it if you were previously issued one. Come on, man. Come on, man. B, felonies. If you're convicted of a drug offense or state drug offense, because those are two different things. All I'm going to tell you guys right now, here's some gem drops. There's a difference between getting convicted on the state level and the federal level. If you know how to use it, don't abuse it. Certain misdemeanors. This also didn't apply to him. So that means, and then imprisoned. That also doesn't apply to him. Emergency and humanitarian exceptions also does not apply to him, and that's the rest of it. So what kind of fudgery, uckerfeue, are we dealing with here? Somebody incompetent in the Department of State denied somebody on some, I feel some type of way. Like, what are you, some kind of like punk bitch or something? I don't get it. You're incompetent clearly. Male or female, I don't care what's between your legs. Doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter to me. Not my banana, not my peach. So he will find remedy in this. He just has to get his information in front of the right people. And then if they still deny him, then we file a federal lawsuit. And he'll make some money. And if he uses me, I'll get paid. And then we keep going. So that's going to be one of the things that, like I said, I'm going to be working on is dealing with federal lawsuits, as I probably will have to take up one or two against certain law enforcement agencies, potentially, and court systems, depending on how they move, and municipalities, possibly over some tax stuff. So I might as well learn it and be fluent with it now. I mean, I'm decent, but I want to become as good as I am with the rest of it with that particular arm of the law and enforcement and etc. And that would be that red book right there, which is the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Because once you know how to sue them, what do you really have to be, and you're comfortable with it? What do you have to be afraid of? But understand, you can't just cause some bullshit and then be, oh, I'm gonna sue them. That's not how it works. Because they'll get you for fraud if in fact it is fraud. Okay? So don't dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. I ask this of all of my friends. Do the right thing, or the wrong thing will be done to you, and it's 100 times worse. And keep in mind that when you do have a problem, you do still have to do the administrative process. You can't just jump right into lawsuit. You can go in front of the judge. He's going to ask you, well, did you guys try to work this out? Did you give him any notification? Did you send him an affidavit of right to cure and letter of notice of default? No. Oh, well, I'm going to deny this. You need to go through arbitration. So you must exhaust, and yes, it's dickery at its finest. You must exhaust those, nearly all of those administrative practices before doing that. But here's the kicker. Here's the old kick in the pants, as the old timey guys used to say. Once you've done that, you're pretty solid because now you've boxed them in even worse. And now the judge can give you even more, I think up to 3 times what you've originally asked for. Because when he asks that question, he's gonna be like, yeah, Your Honor, I'm only here because I've exhausted everything else. Gotcha, bitch. That's how you do that.